Hiya, it's Bree, and I have another deck of 10 questions and answers with the explanations on why these answers are correct. These questions were taken directly from a Trailhead pretest. We're going to call this the Dino deck set. There will be 3 decks of 10 questions with the answers and explanations, and then a 4th deck with just the questions and answers, so you can use as flashcards to help you study for your certified Salesforce admin exam. Let's get started. Ursa Major Solar customers are starting to request custom-sized solar panels, which are currently unavailable in the standard inventory. Management has decided to add custom sizing as an add-on item in Salesforce. The administrator needs to allow sales users to add custom sizing to the total opportunity sale. What should the administrator do to achieve this goal? Okay, let's see what the options are. We have A, add a new field on the opportunity labeled custom sizing. B, make a new custom object related to opportunities for custom sizing. C, add custom sizing as a new product in an order. Or D, add custom sizing as a new product in the price book. So let's think about this for a second and what would make the most sense and be the easiest for the admin. So if you add a new field on the opportunity labeled custom sizing, so if you did that, you would still need to put it in the price book with a price. And it wouldn't necessarily do what you want it to do, if that makes sense. So it's out. It seems like a good idea, but it's not the easiest or best practice. B, make a new custom object related to opportunities for custom sizing. Why would anyone do that? That doesn't make any sense. That is a bad answer. C, add custom sizing as a new product in the order. So that sounds so good, right? Like, yeah, I would add a special field for a new product in the order. Unfortunately, it needs to be in the price book. So the first thing you need to do is add custom sizing as a new product in the price book, and it will fix all the other issues. And then your sales reps could start selling and adding to their order custom sizing. Let's see if we are correct. And we are. Universal Containers sells through many different resale networks. Each reseller's deals are tracked on separate opportunities. The sales manager is concerned that the pipeline report is not accurate due to multiple opportunities for the same end customer. How should the sales process be modified to ensure that opportunities are not double counted in the pipeline? So first we have A, change the amount on the duplicate opportunities to 0. B, change the forecast category to omitted on the duplicate opportunities. C, enable duplicate management to prevent the creation of duplicate opportunities. D, create the opportunity and use the competitors related list to track the different resellers. So let's see what we have and break it down for us. So we have A, change the amount on the duplicate opportunities to 0. Changing the amount to 0 would not help omit duplicate opportunities at all. So that is a not answer. So what we have now is B, change the forecast category to omit the duplicate opportunities. Absolutely. A forecast category is a category within the sales cycle to which an opportunity is assigned based on the opportunity stages. So if you omit that, then that fixes the problem that the sales manager has asked you to fix. But let's see what else we are given. C, enable duplicate management to prevent the creation of a duplicate opportunities. Okay, so there's this thing about duplicate rules, but duplicate rules would not help to omit duplicate opportunities. It helps create duplicate like accounts and people. Be like, if you started creating an account, it's like we already have an account at this address. It might be a duplicate. It wouldn't trigger for opportunities, so that won't work. So the last one we have is create the opportunity and use the competitors related list to track the different resellers. I don't know why this would even be thought of, because competitors lists would not help track resellers whatsoever. So that is definitely incorrect. And so I'm going to say, after we talked this out, that the correct one would be B, change the category to omit the duplicate opportunities and see if we're correct. And we are correct. The administrator for CloudKicks has a flow that makes several updates to contacts when they are being created. If a contact status is new, and the context email is known, the administrator would also like to send a welcome email. What should the administrator do to complete this requirement? A, update the flow with a formula to send the email when needed. B, create a process builder with an email alert to send the welcome email. C, update the flow with a decision to send the email when needed. D, create a workflow rule with the email alert to send an email. So let's go through these and see which one we would choose to pass our test. Update the flow with a formula to send the email when needed. So formula is math, right? So this has nothing to do with math because it says it's a new contact and the email is known. Nothing about math, so that's out. B, create a process builder with the email alert to send the email. So process builder, as you know, is if this happens, then the next step is this, and then the next step is this, and the next step is this for your sales reps or your customer service reps. So it wouldn't be a process builder. So let's go to the next one. Update the flow with a decision to send the email when needed. This sounds pretty good because there's a decision because it has to be new and the context email is known. So that is a decision that the system can make, or the person who puts in the contact can click when they click new and put in the email. It will trigger the flow and an email will be sent. So that sounds pretty good. So what we have next is create a workflow rule with the email alert to send the email. So this sounds a lot like the one above it, but it's a workflow rule with an email alert to send the email. And so it would be triggered every single time someone changes their email address, changes their phone number, anything like that. But C has a decision, and the decision is new, and the email is known. So I'm going to go with C, update the flow with a decision to send the email when needed. And we are correct. Universal Containers has two business groups. They have their products and services. Both groups will be using opportunities to track deals, but different fields are required by each group. In which two ways should the administrator meet this requirement? You have to choose two. Let's see what our options are. Create two permission sets, create two page layouts, create two record types, create two lead processes. So first one is we have create two permission sets. So permission sets is what the user is assigned as a set and does not affect what the user can see. However, the user needs to see both types of opportunities based on whether the opportunity is a product or a service. So you would want them to be able to pick opportunity or service, and that can't be done through permission sets. That can be done through page layouts and fields. So let's see what the next one is. We have create two page layouts. So this would be correct because I just mentioned through page layouts, you'd be able to choose if it's going to be the product or the service. So I'm going to go with B as a strong contender. What do we have next? C, create two record types. Absolutely, because you would need a record type for products and a record type for services. So if you create two record types, you are able to customize what fields are shown for each group based on the type of record they have access to. So I'm going to say that's a strong contender. And so the next one we have create two lead processes. Not necessary. A lead is a lead, and everybody knows that a lead has to do with contacts. So it wouldn't be for products and services. I know that's very confusing that contacts are leads and leads are contacts. It's one of those things where it just becomes Salesforce jargon, but I'm going to go with B and C, and let's see. We have B and C. Perfect. A system administrator enables case feed actions and feed items in support settings. With the appropriate profile permissions enabled, what changes will the user see? This comes up in almost every single pretest. Remember, if you change things to feed, everything changes to feed. So let's see what they give us this time. All case fields will be added to the chatter feed for tracking. Case feeds will no longer be hidden on standard page layouts. Cases will use feed layouts rather than standard page layouts. All case buttons will be converted to action in the case field. So just remember, all of these are wrong. If you switch something to feed, everything will switch to feed. So it'd be like C, right? Like cases will use feed layouts rather than standard page layouts. That is what's going to happen. I'm not sure if this was on my test, but it's been on like the last 4 pre-tests we've done together. So make sure that you know that if you change something to feed, everything changes to feed. Okay, so there we go. C is correct. Let's move on. Ursa Major Solar uses the following private data access model for cases. Support agents who own the case, product specialists who occasionally need access to the cases in their product line. What are the 2 actions that will allow the appropriate access in this scenario? So in this scenario, we have the customer service rep that owns the case, and sometimes the specialist will need to go into the case. And how can we get the specialist to be able to see the case is how it's asking it in a very strange way. So we have A case escalation role assigned ownership to product specialists. B, administrator configures predefined case teams and assignment roles. C, case owners configured predefined case teams. D, case owners manually add product specialists on an ad hoc case. So let's see which one would actually work in this situation. Remember, we have a customer service rep, and sometimes the customer or the product specialist needs to see that case that was listed. So an escalation rule would not allow for teams to access the case. What an escalation rule does is after so many time passes or it gets so many dollars behind or whatever, you would have a workflow rule, which is an escalation rule that will send it either to another team or send an email out. So that's not going to help because, again, it's asking for another individual to come into this case and access it. So let's see what else we have. The administrator configures predefined case teams and assignment rules. Yeah, a case team is a group of people who work together to solve cases. So you could have the case teams, and that would totally work. And you could have the specialist on the case team all the time. So whenever their product happens to show up in the case, they have access to it. So that would work. And let's see, the next one is case owners configure predefined case teams. That's incorrect because case owners can't make the teams. The admin has to. So that's a little tricky. The admin has to. However, the next one, case owners manually add product specialists to ad hoc case teams. They can. They can ask another individual in the company that has the same permission sets or the permission sets that they need to come in and look at the case. And so the case owner can add someone to the case. So let's see if that works. Yep, B is correct, and let's see if D is correct. They are both correct. How should a chatter user send a message to another chatter user that could not be viewed by anyone else? A, post a message to the record owner. B, use #secret to send the message to the recipient. C, use @mention to include the recipient with the message. D, post a private message to the recipient. So the first one we have is post a message to the record owner. Maybe the record owner isn't the person you want to send the message to. If a record is inherited and sharing rules and using chatter, things get confusing. So they might not even be the record owner. There's someone working on the case or working in that chatter feed. So also, it doesn't keep it private. It just posts it on to the chatter feed. And the question says it wants to keep it private, so it cannot be viewed by anyone else. So that one's out. What we have next is use #secret to send the message to the recipient. That would be cool if it were #secret, but that's not really a thing. It's kind of cute, but it's not a thing. Use @mention to include the recipient's name within the message. So that is how you talk to people, but if you use @mention, everybody in the chatter feed can see that you are talking to somebody. It would say @mention Bree. How does this work? Everyone who goes on that chatter feed will see that you have asked me that question. So that's not private, or it can be viewed by everybody, so it doesn't answer the question. But the last one, post a private message to the recipient. You can totally do that, and that will make sure that it is private for that person. Let's see if we are correct, and we are. Next question, what are 2 ways to customize basic reports using the Lightning experience? Choose 2 options. The options we are given are A, adding links to external pages, B, adding a chart, C, adding a Lightning component, D, adding a filter. Let's see. So A, adding a link to external pages, you can't do that. So that is definitely out. B, adding a chart, Yes, 100% yes. There are so many different types of charts you can add to customize it so it looks better, so it's more aesthetically pleasing, and the visuals are perfect. So, and customizable. So yes, you can definitely add a chart. What's the next one? Adding a lightning component. Lightning components are not available for reports, so that's totally not an answer. And the last one we have is adding a filter. Definitely. Filtered reports are amazing, and if you're not using filters, you should start, and it's the best way to customize things. So I'm going to go with chart and filter, and let's see. Yep, chart and filter. We are correct. Let's see what we have next. A user at Ursa Major Solar attempts to log into Salesforce from an IP address that is outside the login IP range on the user's profile, but within the organization-wide trusted IP range. What occurs as a result of this scenario? A, the user will be able to log in after answering one security question. B, the user will be unable to log in at all. C, the user will be able to log in without activating the computer. D, the user will be able to log in after the computer is activated. So let's talk about IP ranges for a second. As the admin, when you set up IP ranges, you can put restrictions on profiles and logins, and then if they try to log in outside of those restricted areas, they will be denied, even if it's within the trusted organization-wide IP range. So remember that. And the question says that the IP address is outside of the login, so you've already restricted them. So access will be completely denied. So the first one, if they answer security questions, still they won't be able to log in because they're outside of their specific IP range that you as the admin had set up. B, the user will not be able to log in at all. Absolutely. They are outside of their range. C, the user will be logged in without activating the computer, and D, the user will be able to log in after the computer is activated. What those two answers are fake answers to try to trip you up, because you would be like, what does that even mean? But you know, as the sales admin and as someone who studied for this, that people cannot log in under their username outside of the IP address you have defined for them. So it's going to be B. And we are correct. Ursa Major Solar has the following process regarding its opportunities. There are 3 different lines of business, widget A, widget B, widget C, that each contain fields specific to that line of business, industry, and customers. For each line of business, there is a specific set of fields that sales users should see and a different set of fields that marketing users should see. An administrator needs to configure page layouts and record types for the opportunity object so that each team sees what they need to see without cluttered layouts containing unnecessary fields. What should the administrator do to accomplish this goal? So we have a couple of options here. We have A, create 6 record types, marketing widget A, marketing widget B, marketing widget C, sales widget A, sales widget B, and sales widget C, and 6 total page layouts, 1 for each record type. B, create 6 record types, sales widget A, sales widget B, sales widget C, marketing widget A, marketing widget B, and marketing widget C with 1 page layout. Create 3 record types, widget A, widget B, widget C, with 6 page layouts, sales widget A, sales widget B, sales widget C, marketing widget A, marketing widget B, and marketing widget C. Create 1 record type with 6 page layouts, marketing widget A, marketing widget B, marketing widget C, sales widget A, sales widget B, and sales widget C. Wow, that was a lot of saying the word widget. So what it's asking is that you create something that the marketing team can see and the sales team can see for the 3 widgets, and they don't want everything to be unnecessary fields for whoever's viewing it. So how should you set that up? So let's think about this for a second. We know that we have 3 products, A, widget B, and widget C. And so for that, we're going to need 3 record types. And then we have 2 teams that need to see each record type. So they will need their own page layout for each record type. So that means we will need 3 record types, and There's 3 and 2 teams, so that's 6 page layouts. And let's go through these and see which one has that. A, create 6 record types. We do not need 6 record types. We need 3. That one is out. Next one, create 6 record types. Again, we do not need 6. We need 3. See the next one, create 3 record types. That sounds promising. Widget A, widget B, widget C with 6-page layouts. That is how we would need to see it, with a sales widget A, sales widget B, sales widget C, marketing widget A, marketing widget B, and marketing widget C. That sounds pretty good. That's what I would choose. Let's see what the next one is though. Create 1 record type. That's out. We do definitely need 3 record types. So it's going to be C. And we are correct. Universal Containers uses a custom object with the product development team. Product development executives and system administrators should be the only users with access to the records of this object. The product development team needs read-write access to all records within the object, while the executives should be able to view the records. How should the system admin configure the security model? So we have a couple of options. A is set the organization-wide defaults for the custom object to private, add the executive users as the default team for the object, add the default team to all the records. B, set the organization-wide default for the custom object to public read-write, create a read-only sharing rule to share all records with the object in the executive public group, set the organization-wide defaults for the custom object to public read-write, give the product development profile read, create, edit permissions, give the executive profile read-only permissions for that object. D, set the organization-wide defaults for that custom object to private, give the product development profile modify all the object, give the executive profile view all access. So the question wants us to address 2 things. It wants us to make sure that the product development team can change records, update them, write them, read them. They need access 100%. But the executive team should not be able to modify or change anything, but just read the object. So A does not mention the product development team at all, so it's out. B doesn't mention the product development team at all, so it's out, because this is a 2-part question, and that only answers 1 part of it. C, set the organization-wide default for custom object to public read-write, give the product development profile read, create, edit permissions, give the executive profile only permissions to read, right? So that one is so perfect. It answers, or it addresses both issues, that the product development team needs to be able to edit everything and the executives can only read it. Let's see what the next one is. Set the organization-wide defaults for the custom object to private, give the product development profile modify all the object, and give the executive profile view all access. So it is the same answer essentially as C, but the language is different. The language is not using Salesforce language. Modify all is not something that you can choose, but you can choose create, edit permissions, and read. So that is where you might get tripped up, because it's using language that's not in Salesforce. But if you read that answer, it definitely gives you, it addresses everything in the question, just not in Salesforce language. So C uses Salesforce language and addresses both issues within the question. So I'm going to go with C on that one. And we are correct. And let's see what the next question is. Oh, we are done. It looks like we did 11 questions instead of 10 this time. So that's cool. I will set up another one in another couple of days for this Dino series, and good luck on your test, and thank you for watching or listening. Again, my name is Bree, and I wish you nothing but luck. Thanks. Bye.